All right, welcome back everybody. I'm really excited. I got my Amazon package today, and it's a stove I've been eyeballing for a little while, and I really wanted to get it and review it because I can't find any English language reviews of this stove. And it is the Camping Moon XD1 Turbo Stove. That's what we have right here. Here's the box it comes in. Give you a good look at it. And as you can see, there's a lot of, I believe they call that kanji, that writing. I'm not an expert, so if it's not kanji and somebody starts yelling at me, take a chill pill, man. I'm doing the best I can here. But it gives you some specs. And this is the box. And the cool thing is, it has a storage container. You know, it's a lightweight plastic container. Got a little drain hole in the bottom. It's great. It's mostly stainless steel construction, a little bit of brass, a little bit of everything else. It is a canister stove designed for isobutane. Can use other fuels with the adapter. And the really cool thing is, I was surprised, down in the box, they give you this little igniter. That's one of those ones, you know, it's a electric one. So if this stupid thing breaks, it's not attached to the stove. How cool is that? I really appreciate that. Now we're going to get a nice little close-up look at the stove itself. It's got these little arms that fold out. And they have a little locking point right there. You can see the hole and you can see the little dimple. And they actually lock in there. And according to the material I was reading, this is cast stainless steel, and there are 50 all the way around in here holes. This is a preheat tube for the fuel, so the fuel gets preheated before it gets burned, which is pretty cool. This is designed for cold weather. And they make some pretty interesting claims in the little instruction book, which I'll show you here in a minute. And if this lives up to the hype, this might be my new favorite canister stove. And it's got a little remote, and there's the end, and that folds over on itself to make it more compact when you stow this. So, oh, and it comes with this little plastic plate. And this is so you can take your isobutane canister, and when you put this on, you can invert the canister like this, and it will give you more liquid fuel, which gives you a boost in cold weather. At least that's what they're saying. So kind of cool. I'm really excited to get this and test it out. So that's only the first part of the equation. Second part of the equation is I got another cook cup. Now these DZOs, this is the large camping cup with lid, 27 ounce, 800 milliliter. And it's just a real simple box. There's not a whole lot on there. There's a UPC. You know, real basic. It comes with a really good lid. I mean, look at that lid. It's not coming out. It goes in nice and stays there. The D handle, I can tighten that up. But it does stand upright, just not perfectly upright. It's got drain holes and all that. Now this isn't the first time I've had these cups. This is actually the third one I've bought. I love these cups, and I use them in my basic cook kit, or what I call my civilian cook kit. And it's got graduations stamped on the side here that you can read from the inside of the cup. And they're in ounces and milliliters, which is awesome. you know. And it'll hold over 2 cups, which is great. And this is what we're going to use to do our boil test. We're going to boil 2 cups of water, because if I'm out and we're going to do an early morning scenario, I get up, I'm going to boil 2 cups of water, because I'm going to rehydrate something like this breakfast skillet. And this calls for 3/4 of a cup, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 3/4. But I never use 3/4 of a cup. I usually use like half a cup. And that leaves me with 1.5 cups of liquid in here, and I can make my coffee. So I have breakfast and coffee, which is what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. I'm going to put 2 cups of room temperature water in here from one of my canteens. We're going to hook this up to some isobutane. I'm burning isobutane for the test. And then we're going to hook it up to some other fuels and see what it looks like. Okay? So stick around. I'm sure this is going to be interesting. I'll be right back. We're back. Before we get into the burn test and all that, I wanted to show you the instructions. And yeah. Yep. Those are the instructions. I'm playing. The other side is in English. So, they show you how it folds down. How to hook up gas to it. How to light it. And they got their whole be careful warning section. You can go ahead and pause that if you want to read it. And then over here, they call that stand the Delta Pod. And here, if you want to pause this, read this section and tell me what you think, because they're making some interesting claims here. I can't wait for the winter to try some of that out. There's some more of the specs. Okay? So those are the instructions they give you with it. Let's get this hooked up to some gas. Let's make sure this valve is shut off. Okay. Let's see what happens. Alright, I'm not going to invert the canister. That's what this locks on there for. See? There's actually a nub here. And that's how you can invert the canister. We're not going to do that because we're indoors and it's not severely cold weather or anything like that. We're going to keep the canister way over there. I'm going to get some of this cardboard out of here. Last thing I need is a fire, and I don't want to melt that. And let's get that out of here too, because I don't want to melt that either. Okay, so we have our 2 cups of water. As you can see, comes right up to the 16-ounce mark. That's 2 cups. US cups are 8 ounces each. I know the rest of you all use that metric system, and that's how she'd set on there. So, let's use their igniter, and let's see if we can get this guy lit. It says you got to be down in here. Waiting till I hear gas. There it is. Ooh. I gotta shut that off. I smell gas big time, but this igniter I'm having issues with. I can see a spark, but it's just not much. Let's try that again. There we go. Wow. Okay, we're going to turn it off. Let's look at the flame pattern. Wow, that looks good. I got a ceiling fan over here on. I'm shutting that off. Let's see if we can get that tuned down even more. Okay, we're down, 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 down. I think if I go even one more turn beyond that, it's going to shut off. Wow, that does look interesting. Okay, now let's open it all the way. See what she looks like. Wow, that's like a tornado of flame. Look at that. Okay, we're going to turn that back. Holy smokes. Wow, that's cool. Okay, get my little timer here. Got a nice little timer. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to put our pot on. And I'm not going to crank it full open. I think that's kind of crazy. But we are going to try go, let's say, 3/4 throttle. How's that sound? So, pot's on. About like that. And we have started the timer, which I'm going to set right over here. Kind of out of the way. Now I'm going to turn the light back on. There we go. You can see the timer. At least I can see it in the viewfinder. So, we'll see how long it takes. I'll open it up a bit more. Whew. That thing is a flamethrower. Alright. That's as big as I want to open that, because, man, that thing's kicking. Let's see here. Loosen that lid. It's already starting to show bubbles in there. Look at that. Holy smokes. I'm just going to... I can feel the heat back here behind the camera. That thing's kicking off. You know, and looking at these instructions, they don't say how many watts this thing kicks out. Usually they give them like a watt or a BTU rating, and well, here it is, 4.9 kilowatts upside down gas tank. So if anybody in there wants to convert that to another unit that I would understand, I have no idea what 4.9 kilowatts is. We're not doing that because the tank is straight up. So we're a minute 45. Let's take a look. Look at that. It's almost boiling. Holy smokes. Man, that's hot. Let me get my multi-tool. I don't want to burn my fingers. That's crazy. Look at that. We're only, let me make sure, 220 in. This is probably going to be boiling in 3 minutes or less. Wow, this thing's fast. Okay, we're at 237. Let's take a look. Look at that. Holy smokes. Approaching 3 minutes. And might as well say 3 minutes now. And it's, yeah. So 303, 304. Might as well say 305. Raging boil. Look at that. Okay. So now we're going to ease off on that. We're going to turn that down to a simmer. We'll go see what that looks like. Ooh, that lid is... I can feel the heat off that lid as I'm holding it with this multi-tool. I'm going to just ease this back. I want the flame just barely visible. Okay. That's as small as I think I can get the flame without it going out. That would be a simmer right there. Wow. 3 minutes, 5 seconds to a rolling boil. I'm impressed. That's faster than my other canister stove, the Luxada. Wow. Let me turn this light off. And see if I can pick this up without burning the shit out of myself. Those are warm, but they're not hot. And that's how low I got the flame. That's impressive. Color me impressed. Okay? I'm going to take this off. And, you know what? Use that as a trivet. Bet you didn't know you could take a multi-tool and use it like a trivet. Boom. There you go. Another use of the Victorinox multi-tool. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. We're going to let that cool, and we're going to hook it up to another fuel type. We're going to go for straight butane in this next test, then we'll do straight propane. So I'll be right back after everything is cooled off. Okay, we are back. We have the adapter hooked up to straight butane canister to our remote stove, our XD1 turbo stove. I think the name is appropriate. Definitely did a quick boil time. And we've got 2 cups room temperature water, just like last time. And just show you it's cold, or room temperature. It's nothing special. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this boil test again, but with straight butane. And we're going to see if there's a difference in the boil times. Let's see here. Get this started. There we go. Ooh, that lit easy. Alright. Okay. Let's see how low we can get it with the butane. I don't think I can get it any low. Oh, see, it's starting to fizzle. Right? Maybe a little more open. There we go. I think that's the lowest I can get it with butane. Let's open it wide with the butane. Let's see what that looks like. Move that over. Definitely some supply issues there in the butane when it's fully open. Man, that's a tornado of flame. Okay, that's interesting. I got that valve completely closed right now and it's still going. Okay, there it goes. It's dying down. Holy smokes, that must have been... Holy smokes. That must have been butane in the line. I mean, I had closed that and it was still going. That's a bit freaky. So I know I'm not going to... If I open that full bore, I'm going to have a minute or two there where it's deciding if it wants to shut off or not. Wow! Okay. Let me open this up. There we go. So, same test as last time. I'm going to throw this pot on here. I'm going to open it up as far open as I feel comfortable with. And we're going to see what kind of boil time we get. So, pot on. I don't like that spitting. So, we're going to go ahead and start it. Man, I don't like that. See if I stand it upright, if I get better. That's as wide open as I want to be with that butane. Okay, turn this light back on. And okay. Already starting to get bubbles, and we're approaching 1 minute. Yeah, standing the bottle up, and I did a few adjustments on this valve, seemed to take care of that spitting, that like up and down with the fuel. I have noticed that in straight butane on other stoves. It's just something from stove to stove. Sometimes it's more dramatic on some than others. Okay, minute 40 seconds. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, we're getting there. Definitely got some bubble action going. I bet it's going to be pretty close to the isobutane in boil time. So 2 minutes on the clock, you can see down here. Look at that, getting ready to boil. Almost there. So, note to self, stand the bottle upright. Because when I think it was getting some of the straight liquid that was causing that spitting, but that's supposed to be a high power mode for this stove. That's why they give you that goofy plate. Alright, 2 minutes 36 seconds. Oh man, it's almost boiling. In fact, we're just going to leave that lid off, and we're going to catch the exact time it boils. 250. 255. 8, 9, 3 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it's a rolling boil. So just a little bit longer than the isobutane. Kind of what I expected. Let's crank this down. Let's take this down to a simmer. And this canister is feeling a little cold, so it was moving a fair amount of fuel. And let's shut her off. Okay. Wow. That was cool. Okay. We're going to come back and we're going to do the propane next. And who knows, maybe it'll be faster, maybe it'll be slower. I don't know. We will find out. We are back. We have our propane with adapter hooked up to our XD1 turbo stove. So we're going to light it up, see what she looks like, and go from there. And we also got 2 cups of room temperature water. So we will do the same thing we did before, but with different fuel. Let's get this open. It's weird, you can go almost 2 full turns before you hear any gas on their valve. But it's got pretty good fine adjustment. Let's take a look at it. Yeah. Let's see if I can get that lower. And I think that's as low as she goes. If I go any lower, I think it's going to start going out. That's pretty cool. Let's open her up. Let's go full blast, shall we? Holy moly. It's a tornado of fire. Okay, same thing as last time. We're going to put the pot on there. I'm going to open it as far as I feel necessary. I know it's not super scientific, but that thing puts out such a flame. There, and we'd start the timer. And you can see the timer down here. Just that pot. There we go. That is no joke, man. Let's see if I can... There we go. Forming a few small bubbles already at 30 seconds. I'm digging this stove. Man, I can't wait to get out in the field and give this a try. If only the weather will cooperate. It's literally rained here every day for like almost 3 weeks. It's insane. We got... And the mosquitoes, oh my God. The mosquito problem is out of control. Okay, we're past a minute. Getting some good bubble action going there. Yeah, because of all the rain, the mosquitoes are breeding like crazy here. And anybody who's ever been to Michigan knows the mosquito is our state bird. So you could actually go to jail for killing them. I'm joking. But sometimes it feels like I'm not, let me tell you. Okay, 1.5 minutes. Good bubble action. I wonder if it's going to be kind of the same as it was with the other fuel. Man, I went down and looked from this angle, and the arms of that pot, you know, the integrated pot stand is turning bright cherry red. Whew, hot. Okay, we're going up to 2 minutes. Oh, it's about to boil. I'm going to leave the lid off. That propane is kicking. We've almost got a raging boil. $2.27, $2.30, $33, $34, $35, $36, $37, $38, $39, $40, $1, $2, $3. I'm calling it 2 minutes 43 seconds. We've got a raging, rolling boil. We'll crank this back. Take this down to a nice simmer. Wow, using that propane, that little sucker kicks. Like I said, the cool thing about those propane is hardware stores, usually if a campground has like a small store or something, you can always find propane. Isobutane, that usually gets sold out first, not the propane though. Unless it's 4th of July. 4th of July around here, you can't find anything. So you should buy a week or two in advance. 2 weeks preferably. So, get this down to just as small a simmer as I can get that flame. And I think that's it right there. Look at that. Wow. Let me turn that light off so you can see that a little bit better. That's just that little bit of flame once you got up to temperature, and it does just the perfect simmer. Okay, I'm impressed. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm digging this stove. I mean, granted, I got to get out in the field and use it out there. Because there's a big difference between being out in the wind and everything else and having to erect a barrier against the wind and everything else and cooking out there and fighting the bugs and all that compared to a tabletop test. But overall, I'm impressed. Let me shut her down. That's off. Wow. That is a cool little stove. That is... I don't know why I waited so long. Alright, let me get cleaned up here, get the water poured out. I'll come back and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Before I get this all cleaned up, I just wanted to come back and tell you two things. This cast part of the stove is what adds most of the weight. You can see the casting is kind of swedged into these holes, and that's also where the burners come out. You can see the little burner holes. And this casting, I think, is what is most of the weight of the stove. Acted like a heat sink. And it took a good 10-15 minutes for this thing to get cold enough for me to handle it like this. So that's something to be aware of. This stove runs really hot. I mean, look at that discoloration. Not only on this gas tube, but on these arms. And that's all stainless steel, and you can see the discoloration. So, that sucker don't want to go back together. I wonder if it's warped. Oh, there it goes. Just really tight. So, just be aware, when this sucker heats up, it's hot, and it takes time to cool off. Okay, I'm going to put everything away and come back and give you my final thoughts. Okay, so I got the stove back in the box. There's the igniter they gave us with it. But we still got some room here, even with this stand, this fuel stand. So I'm thinking, small cigarette lighter. Why not have another ignition source? Matches. Just plain old matches. And I got it in this Ziploc pill pouch to keep them dry. So we get that in there. Alright. Can opener. GI can opener by Shelby & Co. I believe this is the 52 model. 52. Okay, so we got a can opener. Then we've got our two adapters. And I can fit one. I think I can fit them both in here. Let me see. Maybe like that. And see if I can get the lid back on. Oh, look at that. I got everything back in that. And it's a little tight. I'll have to play with that arrangement a little bit. I wonder if I can get these in the bottom. Let's see. Because I think I got a little bit more room in the bottom. Maybe I will try putting the stove in upside down. Because that's all I did for the stove. Let's try putting it in upside down. Oh yeah, we got a lot more room like this. Okay. So cigarette lighter. The igniter that they gave us, that little electric igniter. Can opener. Because why not, right? Matches. Oh yeah. One adapter. Second adapter. Oh yeah. And then that stand. Look at that. It's still a little, Let's see if we can get that stand rearranged. I think that's the problem right there. Is that's just up too high. Let's try that. Bingo. There we go. Now, if this was going in my pack, I'd probably put some cotton balls or something down in there so this won't rattle and make all that noise. But short of the fuel canister, you got everything you need there. You can open cans, You can use different fuel types. Man. So what do I think of this stove? Well, the Camping Moon XD1 Turbo Stove is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed so far. If it lives up to the hype they're talking about here in the instructions, and I don't know if you can read all of that or not, but what I'm really getting at is they talk about, let's see here. They're talking about their unique inner flame type combustion system, and to achieve without preheating can be normally used at minus 15 degrees cold mountain environment. Ordinary fuel may be condensed at 15 degrees below zero. It is recommended to use high mountain gas in combination. Well, I have no idea what high mountain gas is. But I'm just wondering, 15 degrees, at minus 15 degrees, I wonder if they're talking Celsius or if they're talking Fahrenheit. I don't know, because they don't say here. They just say 15 degrees cold mountain environment. So, yeah. I can say that if this functions at 15 degrees below zero Fahrenheit, I'll be impressed. So I guess we're going to have to wait for the winter for that kind of test. But initial impressions, super positive, super impressed. And if you're looking for a canister stove, this is the one. Right now on Amazon, it's $35.80. Fantastic deal. So for the price of going out to eat for one evening, for one person, you can have this great canister stove. And, you know, even if you're not a camping person, this, several bottles of fuel for the next power outage, because a lot of people do not have gas stoves, they have electric stoves. Well, what if you have a power outage that lasts a couple days? You need a camp stove so you can at least make yourself something to eat. What if you have a boil advisory on top of that for your water? Now, we've had that here where I live before. We have power outages all the dang time. So something like this would be a nice little insurance policy that you can put in your closet, and maybe you never use it. Maybe you're that lucky. But if you needed it, it's there. Or, let's say you go car camping. I would take this even car camping. It's a great little system. So, thumbs up for the Camping Moon XD1 Turbo Stove. I'm impressed. And that's it for this review. I'll see y'all later out in the woods.